And 3, 2, 1, boom. And we're back with another episode of Crack Gamers. This episode brought to you by Zenreal Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and your accessories, zenrealclothingco.com. And be sure to check out Zenreal. Oh, no. Also use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. If you're not willing to spend the money, be sure to check out zenrealclothingco.com for Zenreal Radio. Got some amazing playlists up there. Check out free music, set your vibe. And if you're located within the Port Union area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out the Port Union Bakery. They've got delicious baked goods, crafted daily and with love. Okay, so I just watched this video about, I was scrolling through my social media feed, as most people do, and I came across this video about they're closing things down in New York. Okay, again. So, they stopped, basically kind of how they did it here. You know, they're like, okay, we're just no indoor dining. Basically, that's what they said. And this guy was, ranting about, indoor dining and, how they're crushing the small businesses of America and stuff like that. It's true, right? Okay, totally. So I was listening, and it made me think of here, Doug Ford just announced that it's going to be extended till January 20th or something like that.
Okay.
The entire lockdown, whatever's whatever's in place right now, right?
Right.
And then I was like, okay, there's totally, I get it, you know, the economy's crushed, sure, small businesses, but I was listening to Business Wars yesterday, and they were talking about the Levi's industry, or denim industry. It's probably jeans, right? And so what they're saying is because of World War II, all these factories got converted from one thing to another thing, right? And
right.
And also, I think I was listening to the Pizza Hut one, and they talked about the Great Depression, or maybe that was still in the denim one. It was one of those two, because I was listening back to back, and they were saying how the Great Depression also reshaped society, right? So this has happened in our history before. You know what I mean? I'm sure during World War II, people were they were protesting because they were because the government basically came in. They're like, no, you're gonna build this for our armies,
right? Yeah.
Because we need to fight something
Yeah.
against Hitler. And then with the Great Depression, no, it was the Great Depression, because he was looking at the factory floor, and he's like, he knew if this was Levi Strauss, the company. He knew that if he let his factory workers go, they'd be dead, because there's no jobs out there. So doesn't that just sound just like today's time?
Yeah, right.
Right.
But was Levi's a big company then, or?
It was one of the biggest ones, and then they were doing these world orders, so they would go out every year, they'd fly to these places, and they'd take orders from different stores around the globe.
Oh, okay.
So the whole series started off with the person came back, and their books were empty, and then the owner of Levi's, he's just dip into my savings, because I'd rather use my money than hurt these people for their livelihood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it made me think of when at my last place, when we were because the government gave money out to everyone, right? And then it's okay, so how long before we get let go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was thinking that to myself, and then hearing it on this podcast, I was like, wait, this isn't a novel situation. We're just quick to forget. Nobody looks into history.
Well, yeah.
Right? And it makes me also think how we think we have all this power, because he was ranting about my basic rights and freedoms to earn money, but I'm no, but you're in a country. And he's it's all up to the politicians. I'm it's always been up to the politicians. We live our lives thinking we have these specific freedoms, but these freedoms are just on a piece of paper. There's no freedoms. Go out into nature. There's no laws there.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It's it's made me rethink my perspective on it totally sucks with businesses having to close down, and sure, your livelihood is done. I get that. But I don't want to sound callous, but it's we all have a hard story, you know, go back to World War II, go back to the Great Depression. What about those people? You know, they weren't getting stimulus checks. I mean, technically U.S. isn't really giving them out. Like, but I mean,
Yeah.
like Canada, right? So
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, of course, it looks bad in the sense that it does affect a lot of businesses, right? But if also people die, it's also going to affect businesses. So it's like,
totally. But what they're saying is like, what he was saying is like, wait 3 months, like let the elderly stay at home, wait 3 months, and then they'll get the shot, and then we'll all be good. But it's like, but then he also said he's like, I don't know what the solution is. So I'm like, so why are you ranting? Like, it just makes
yeah,
no
but
sense
he's
if people
again, like, who is this person to say?
just a random.
Yeah, I know.
random,
That's
like,
exactly what I'm
business
saying.
owner.
Like, he doesn't have a field in medical field or something,
Totally.
right?
And when he said
So-
like, he's like, these politicians think they're smarter than me, and it's like, yeah, they probably are though. Like, they're in that position for a reason. Like,
Yeah, I mean, they're not the only ones making the decision. They're talking with other healthcare things, and they know it's not a good thing to shut down. But
Yeah.
sometimes you have to for the sake of people's lives.
totally. And it's like, but he was like, another point he made, he's like, if you walk down New York, you're gonna see all these boarded up places,
Uh-huh.
and like all these like businesses are gonna be converting to different things. But I'm like, yeah, but all businesses have to do that. Like, that's the risk you take with businesses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but like, if you look at it as like a case study,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you look at like history and our time, if you look at history as a case study for our time now, it's like, what makes that any different than now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, like, I guess you can make the argument like that was then and this is now, but it's like, but we're still running under the same rules.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird to me. But I guess, you know, you have to understand that when you're going into business,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but a lot of people just like,
I think a lot of them, I think a majority of them understand the situation, but
Uh-huh.
they're also, it's kind of like, I think they have the right to say those things, but like, they're not in the position of power to do these do
I know.
anything, right? Because
totally.
you can have an opinion, that's fine. I think that's what this person is doing,
yeah,
just expressing an
totally.
opinion. But the like government has to look out for everyone, not just one thing.
Totally, yeah, I agree with that one, but it just seems like so narrow-minded or short-sighted. I mean, no, it totally sucks. Like, if
Yeah.
like they were talking about like on the news, are like, all these people are gonna be homeless this year. It's like, no, it really does suck. But
Mhm.
like, if you take yourself out of it's very hard to do. Like, I was like writing back and forth with this person, and like
Mhm.
they were like, I was explaining something, and then they were like, oh, it sounds so easy. I'm like, it is easy, but it just takes like a change of perspective. So basically what I'm about to say is like,
Mhm.
just, it's easy if you look at it from a different perspective. So if you take yourself out of the equation and you look at it as like, you're not actually you, and you're just looking at it as a whole, it's like, it's just happening, you know, like it's only you having a hard time because you're attaching your own self-narrative to the situation. But like, let's say you read about this in a novel, like, or like you read this in a history book, like 100 years later, you are the same person. You just read about this from
Yeah,
100
right.
years ago. Nobody's gonna care.
I understand that.
Think about the Mongols when they were like raping and killing all these people.
Right.
It's like, we didn't care. We don't care now.
Right, of course. But he's living through it, right?
No, totally. No,
Yeah.
for sure. But I mean, that's why I said it was difficult, because it's like,
Of course.
it's like, yeah, you can take the first person pilot seat perspective,
Yeah.
or you can like take like the more elevated perspective and just look at it like, oh, this is just happening. I just need to deal with it.
Sure. As you get kicked out of your house because you can't pay your rent.
No, it totally
Right.
sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is like, if you just look at it like, you are not you, right? You are watching this happen.
Yeah, but why would you want to do that?
No, but to relieve yourself of suffering.
Sure.
This is like a Buddhist perspective.
I understand
You
that.
know what I mean? It's like,
I get that.
but we don't do that. You know
But
what I mean? It's
no. I get that. I don't see anything wrong with either way, right? We're not disagreeing with that. I'm just
Yeah.
like it. I don't. Sure, yeah, the Buddhist way or like mindfulness or something like that, but I don't think that really matters.
Yeah, I see your point, but like, I get your point. If like, it doesn't matter because he's living through it. I
That's
get
right.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
So his perspective does matter, but like, what I'm saying is, if you just take like the higher road, maybe you'll just calm yourself down. Maybe if you see this is where it's going, why don't
Well,
you
I don't
just,
know
like,
if these
pivot?
things. I don't know if I would consider them necessarily higher road or not. It's just a road, right?
But higher, because you're looking at it like it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can't solve a problem if you're looking at it from a myopic viewpoint. Like,
Yeah,
you're only
sometimes,
seeing
right,
it,
right.
but like,
right.
why don't if you see this is where it's going, you know?
But sometimes venting helps. Isn't that kind of what that is too?
Totally. Yeah, but like, you're venting on social media. But this goes back to our
No,
last
I know
podcast
that. No,
about,
but
like,
you're just
stoking the
letting it
flames.
out,
Yeah.
and then maybe you'll feel better about it after.
Totally, but
That's
this,
what I'm
This
saying.
goes back to
Also.
our topic about like social media and how like a lot of people use it as their diary.
Of
But
course.
it's like, but that's gonna be online forever, bro. Like, why
Yeah,
would you
yeah,
put that
yeah.
up there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get the anger. You know, probably somebody's like, oh, but you don't own your own small business. But it's like, yeah, but also being in the working world and seeing where it was going to go, I myself was like, okay, I need to put these chess pieces into place because,
I think with
like,
right,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think with owning any business, I think there are risks, and I think these are part of the risks that you should understand.
yeah,
right?
totally.
I think anything can happen to any business.
Yeah.
Um.
It's sort of like this.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, when I was a martial arts instructor, they were like, okay, be careful because there's no insurance for us, right? Like, all right, that's fine. We whatever, right? And then like you get kicked in the eye, you go blind, you're kind of just like done for in the martial arts world. But you take that risk. But
Yeah.
if I got kicked in the eye, like if you observe this risk and you're like, okay, if I get kicked in the eye, I can pivot towards a different career.
Yeah.
A skill set, right?
Yeah.
Or like, but what are you going to do if you get kicked in the eye? I think maybe that's like the martial arts training behind it, where it was like, that's why we accepted those risks, because it was like, okay, well, I have the confidence in myself to do something else, you know? But like, maybe that comes from a lack of confidence, because he's like, oh, I own this business. Like, okay, you can convert the business, you can sell it, you can make money, you can like, and it's like, oh, that's so easy to say, but it's like, yeah, but
Right.
just don't put it's easy to say if you don't put your own personal perspective on it. You just try and solve the problem. That's it. Just solve the problem.
Well, yeah. I think you're just saying you should have plan B, C, and D in place.
Totally, yeah, but people don't have that, you know?
Right. I think that's the lesson here. It's like
Exactly.
Right.
And so Dave Chappelle was on Joe Rogan's thing, right? Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan, they both don't like the lockdown, right?
Yeah.
Because they
It
make
affects their
money,
business.
It affects their business, right? But Dave Chappelle said something really insightful to Joe Rogan. He's like, I like what you're doing. You're just pivoting. So like, you're like, oh, okay, they're going to lock us down in LA. I'm moving to Texas. Oh, okay, there's going to be no comedy clubs. I'll open my own comedy club. You know what I mean? You're finding your own solution.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you don't like that? Just leave. Okay, I know what you're going to say. You're like, okay, but it's not that easy to just sell my stuff, pack up my things, and go. But if you had to do it, let's say somebody's going to kill you, would you do it? Yeah. But it's like you just don't perceive a great enough threat to make the pivot. You know what I mean? We live in a life of complacency, even though we know we're headed down the wrong path. But that's what I mean. It's elevated perspective, because you're looking beyond what it is you're looking at to be like, okay, I understand that my emotions are going crazy right now, but what can I do to solve this problem?
Yeah. And I think that the thing is like, it's, even though that is an individual person saying that, I don't think it's not an individual business that's only having this. It's all of them, right? So I'm pretty sure there's maybe I don't know about the US, but like here there are some help from the government in trying to alleviate some of these losses and whatnot as we go through a lockdown, right? So
Totally, yeah.
I just think it depends on the government that you have and what they can do to help you.
Okay,
And-
so but what he was saying is, he's like, he lives in Miami, the person that was ranting, and he's like, if I just drive 25 minutes away, I can be in this like area. So it's like, okay, so why don't you move there? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me that you're not taking an active role. Like, you champion like being sovereign. So it's like, okay, go move then. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like it, you can move. At least you have the freedom to move. Like, what if you were in like a country where it's like you were just being oppressed all the time? So it's like, you need to look at your first world. All right, this sounds so callous, but like but it's true though. It's like first world problems. It's like my cousin who lives in the Philippines, he was saying like, oh, you're gonna get the vaccine. I was like, I don't really know, blah blah blah. But like, we have like 310 on order, 310 million. He's like, oh, Philippines is trying to secure 2 million. But how many fucking freaking millions of people are there in the Philippines?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, It's like relative to that, there are people that like were refusing the vaccine, but they're trying to take it all in because they want to like fix their world. So like that's injustice in its own. So it's like, why aren't you yelling about that? But it's like, yeah, because it's not your first person perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, so just look at the friggin' first person perspective. Like just take your first person perspective out of it, and then I'm sure you'll come up with a viable solution. You know, Dana White did that. Like they were all like
right. But these are big conglomerates that could do that, right?
Like UFC fighters and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, but you started a business, right? So the person started a business. So that's assuming you had money and you had knowledge to start a business. You can't do it again. You can't just move it somewhere else.
Well, we don't know. Everyone's situation could be different, right?
I agree.
Right.
I agree. I'm just saying it's like, but you play to the rules of the game you're situated. I just don't like complaining without a solution. It's like, okay, if that sucks, just do this, you know, or that sucks, do this, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll never be as bad as being like a slave in a different country, you know, like, yeah, I don't know.
No, I think the politicians know what people are dealing with, right? So it's just it's not like a forever thing. It might feel like that for some people, but it's just, it will get better. Since, you know what I mean? I get
they
it,
still
but
owe
it's
their
like
money.
yeah,
and
but then if
like,
government helps, I think they're doing that here. Like some portion of the rent is being.
Is CRB still going?
I think so.
No, I mean like, because it was supposed
I
to
don't know.
end
I've never
December.
even. See, my experience of it was I've never had it,
Right, totally, yeah.
and everybody got my tax credit. Like my
Yeah, so
taxes was given to people who didn't have a job. So that's
if
like I've
you
been
were-
working this whole time.
But if you look at it through your first person perspective, if you look at it selfishly, you'd be like, dude, why are you taking my taxes? You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, where are we gonna go with this?
I know,
You
exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
that's why I mean you need to take the elevated approach here. It's like if you take the first person selfish perspective, it's like, yeah, you're gonna be resource hungry forever. But it's like, do you even see those taxes? You just have to pay taxes. We all have to pay taxes. So it's like, my tax dollars pay for this. It's like, okay, so does the next person.
true.
We all pay taxes. Chill out, man. Like if you really care about where the tax dollars go, why don't you like educate yourself and then get in office and then lobby like everyone else? You know what I mean? But it's like, oh, it's too much work. System doesn't work. It's like, have you tried? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Sounds pretty callous though. I mean, I get how it sounds callous.
Yeah.
But I
We
just,
can
like,
have that perspective too. We have it. Like I get.
like, it sounds callous.
Yeah,
I get it.
of course.
I get it because like, you know,
Individually, yes.
that's why like Jesus said, in but not of the world. You're in the world. Like we're in the world. We're not, like, you can elevate above the world. So it's like, you're not of the world.
Right.
You know, just take that perspective. Just be like, okay, my situation sucks, but could be worse. What are my other solutions? Just taking your self narrative out of the equation,
Right. Yeah.
can serve a lot of good.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like, no, that's true though. It's like, yeah, it could be worse too. It's like, it's like, well, America goes and bombs Syria, and like all the people lose their homes. Like,
Yeah.
they're trying to find a
they're
way.
freaking,
And then they're like,
"What
we don't
about
want you
our
here."
businesses? What about our businesses, bro? You know what I'm saying? It's like that. Yeah, totally. I agree with you. That, see, taking yourself out of that perspective, it's like, oh yeah, COVID really destroyed my business. Oh really? Maybe the freaking bombs that exploded my actual establishment destroyed my business. Like, yeah, at least you had like a bank that you can pull your money to, but like our money literally got blown up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, even like looking at it like that, it's like,
I just don't like when it's like more than one person experiencing this. I don't think it's like government's just going to give up there. Like they know that they require small businesses to exist as well.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
Small
not like
business is the backbone of the Canadian economy. It's, well, I mean, like, I
any
don't know about
country's
US.
economy. I think
No, but like that was like one of the mantras that they were saying in like business class. Like, small business is the backbone.
yeah, I think like, I mean, that's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, that's-
So it's like, so if you're just destroying small business, it's like, it's not good for your economy. It's not like they're doing it and they're like, we're trying, like, one of the conspiracy theories could be like, oh, they're trying to like as I was watching this, I was like, oh, I could see how people would just create a conspiracy theory out of this. They'd just be like, oh, like, you're trying to control the system, you're trying to rewire the system, Jeff Bezos is trying to control the world. No,
The Great Reset.
yeah, Great Reset, yeah. There's an article that came out called like The Great Forgetting, because he thought that at the end of this, he thought it was just gonna be like 6 months, right? The person who wrote the article.
Oh, okay.
So when it came out, he was like, "Oh, when this is all over, we're just gonna forget." But I think it's been a year. So
Yeah.
now it's like,
Oh, yeah.
well, not since the lockdown, but it's been a year since COVID. Happy birthday, COVID. But
Mm-hmm.
he will forget over time, and then everything will just go back to the way it was. But he's saying like, don't do that, because remember, use this as a learning lesson, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so I got sidetracked. But like, some people will be like, "Oh, like Jeff Bezos is trying to take over the world. The big corporations are trying to control everything." It's like, no, they're not. It's just de facto happening.
Yeah.
Like, are you using Amazon?
Mm-hmm. You know what I think it also is, like, coming back to small business. I just think it's also, I remember seeing this too. It's like some businesses do this because they've had life experiences like that where, well, when you make profits, if you're just spending the same amount of money and you're just evening out almost every time, then it's not really a good business. What you're doing, you should have extra
Totally.
money in these sort of situations where you need it.
For sure.
That's what it.
The guy in the video was saying that he's like, I just started to make money, and like now you killed my business. It's like, but I mean, I feel like that's all how businesses are run, though. Like, nobody's run off of, all small businesses are run off credit until you gain like money.
Yeah.
But it's like so difficult to do. So I get their plight. I get it. Because like usually it takes like 7 years for a business to start turning over a profit or something like that. It takes like a long time because you have to pay back your like.
Sure. I don't know those sort of things, but sure.
It's just like
a general.
It's just like a general like. It's like.
Yeah, but it depends on the business, I guess.
No, but no. Well,
So.
I mean, I guess like if you're like you're working for yourself, then technically there are no expenses. But like startup costs, you got to pay back. Like if you have a brick and mortar.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just getting kind of heated because I was like,
I just feel like it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But then
but I'm not in there.
But they're not in their position. It's like, well, at least you have a job. At least you have like benefits, stuff like that. But it's like, okay, like reskilling and retooling, like just like level up, bro. Like, okay, that's what's happening.
No, I mean, like, I don't see, government doesn't necessarily want you to lose jobs, but again,
because then it means you're on EI.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
No, they're like, if you have a job, you're paying taxes. So like,
it's better.
It's better.
Have
have a job.
Makes our economy stronger. So it's not like I just feel like most people are just complacent. Then that's just like, I just don't understand it. Like if you.
But that's one video, right? Like
but just in life in general. Like like if you see this is hitting a brick wall, you're like, oh, this isn't sustainable. I've been in many situations where it's like, oh, this is not sustainable. Like, especially if you're in the martial arts or yoga world, you're like, this is not sustainable. You learn that really quickly. And you're just like, am I going to keep struggling with this? And like hope on a prayer because you see like Instagram yogis and like all these famous martial arts instructors? Or are you going to like pivot and use the skills that you've developed to like do other things? And I don't mean like hard skills where it's like, you know how to work a computer. I mean like soft skills, like your discipline, your focus, your like persistence. Like, why don't you just use those tools to like do something else? But a lot of people are just lazy. For real though, like, that's, yeah.
But yeah.
But then they're just waiting for the government to be like, give me a handout. Right? See what I'm saying? And it's like, how can you complain? How can you complain? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know, like, it is what it is, right? We don't have the power of we're not in the position to know exactly, like, what the choices are that the government's doing, right? But I think they're trying to do the right decisions, so that's I can leave it as. I would leave it at that.
I would assume, too. I would assume. Because, like, it's not good for them if it's not good for us.
Yeah.
There is no new world order happening. I just don't, like, what would it be?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like, how else are you going to control us? The only way to actually control us is give us money to stay home. That's how you control us.
Yeah.
But, like, why? How else? Like, when people are like, oh, they're controlling us through debt, right? Okay, so people are like, okay, the debt cycle. Like, if you go into debt, that's like, that's why even in the Bible, they're saying, like, lending isn't good. Because you become a slave to the person, a financial slave, right? Like that's why like
I think it was probably different back then.
what do you mean
Like their meaning of that sort of stuff.
debt?
Yeah.
No, there's no like lending. Lending money is like not a thing. Even if you look at
No,
Muslim
I
countries,
know,
they don't
but
do
what I
it.
mean is like their definitions, how they used it, probably were different back then. In those
Maybe.
times,
Okay, maybe
compared
yeah.
to now, like I don't think it works the same way.
I don't know because like they were talking about like
you can
lending
take those
tables,
things
like,
allegorically.
no,
right?
I get what you're saying, but like they were actually literally talking about like money, like actual money. Like they were talking about like banking is not good.
I know,
Yeah.
but like what was banking representing at that point, right?
No, because like the lending system in Rome at the time, what like I think it's just people would just see it because the Jews were oppressed by the Romans, right? And in the Bible, it's very like pro Jewish and like things you shouldn't do from their perspective, right? So like I get how they would, if you're indebted to Rome, they're like don't lend money because that's not good. You know, so I could see how like they're actually talking about money. I get what you're saying. Like there are certain things that are like allegorical in the Bible, but like I think for this one it's like literal in terms of like money. All right, but so okay, going back to it, like being a debt slave, but it's like you put yourself in that debt. You chose to purchase that thing. You know, I think what we have is a lack of education of how to handle our personal finances. You know, because like how many people know how to do taxes? I don't know how to do taxes. You know, like I just know that I need to give you my
I don't think
T4.
it's that hard actually.
No, it's not. But that's what I'm saying. It's like how many people know how to like do this? Like I was working on some numbers for like this person, and I did this like spreadsheet instantaneously. Like to them, they're like, "Oh, that sounds like really hard." I was like, "Give me 5 minutes. Just tell me what the numbers are." But I'm like, "But I know how it works." You know, so like in doing that, I realized like, oh, not everyone knows how to manage their finances. Like they just look at it like I get it. Like some people are like, okay, if I can pay off my bills every month, I know how to manage my finances. Like, no, I mean like meticulously, like, okay, I can budget this. And then if I take this money from here, I can put it here. And then if I like, you know what I mean? Like, or if I put this in savings, how much can this net me? You know, like actual financial literacy.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't know that. And that's what gets them into trouble. That's where you get like the financial slavery.
Yeah, I think that should be a general knowledge.
It should be taught in school, but like they don't teach that in school. Like I literally took a personal finance course in university because I was interested. I was like, oh, this sounds cool. I probably should know how to do this. So I took it as an elective. But it's like it took me to university to figure out this. Like we didn't get that taught. But it's funny because like I bring this up because that's one of the things that Nick Cannon and T.I., I think they're both talking about it. Like financial literacy in the Black community is the biggest thing because it's like, no, don't buy that Gucci shirt because you don't have enough money for that. Like they'll get a check and it's like for what we saw it here too, the Serb checks, and then everyone started buying like big expensive things because they were like,
I don't know if it's everyone.
No, but you know what I mean. Like
I know there's probably a few of those people that did that.
Totally. But like,
but what they probably did was also, like they probably moved out and moved into their parents' house, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
So it's like just extra money, or it's
yeah, totally.
I get it.
But financial literacy would be like, if you want to get back on your feet, maybe you should save some of that money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like understanding how money works is essential to survival in the West. I think it's like actually super essential because if you don't know how it works, like money is the conduit towards living. You know?
Yeah.
And if you don't know how it works, it's like you're kind of just floating by, hoping it's gonna work out. You know? Yeah. And then I've also been in those circles where it's like money isn't real, and like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like we should live off of. But here's the funny part. I know we talked about this before, but here's the funny part. Like,
no, like okay. Sure, money isn't real, but we in the society we've made it a real thing right now. So, like meaning to it.
It's how it works.
It's how
like,
it works.
Yeah, totally. It's like
reality.
Words aren't real either, bro. Like, pain isn't real. Like all these things aren't real, but it's like. But they are real to us.
Yeah, we put meaning on it. Yeah,
totally. So like, it's funny. even in those like commune circles where they're like, oh, we should all just work together and just like give and take and like whatever. I'm like, oh, so you want to revert back to the barter system where we carried around cows instead of like dollars?
So the thing is, it's again, I think it comes back to forgetting.
True. Yeah.
Because
true.
it's like, well, you know what I mean? Like, I have to lug all this to you to trade versus,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I like just carry something lighter.
But you're just
like, there's so many things involved.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. Carry something later. But you're just going to create an alternate form of currency even in your commune.
But I think what will happen is even if it does go that way, then eventually generations down, it's like people will go back to
making money because
how to make it more simpler. How do we make it? Then money comes back into the
but
situation
it won't
again.
Be called money. It'll be called like Bitcoin. You
No,
know what I mean?
it might be called money
different.
again because it'll be generations till they forget.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, true. That's why you gotta look into history. History is so important, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody want to lug that gold around anymore.
Yeah, because it's too much work.
It's so
and
heavy.
then you get robbed too. So like,
True.
One of the reasons why you made everything electronic, why do we all use credit cards now? Because walking around with cash resulted in us getting robbed for our cash.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, if you look at the Wild West, like when they had caravans full of gold, that's when bandits came out. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, money's not the problem. It's your perspective of money that's the problem.
Yeah.
The only reason why people are like, money is just numbers, bro. Yeah, because if you had physical things, they can be stolen. Like, what? Of course, it's gotta be digital. And it's like, if it's numbers, then we could just like create like fictitious stock markets. We can create more money, etc. It's like, totally, that's true. That's an added benefit of money. It's not a negative. It's just allowing you to do more with money.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like if you took out a car loan to buy a car,
Mm-hmm.
like that's fictitious money right there. Like that's just ones and zeros. You're right. But it allowed you to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know? We're often like biting the hand that feeds.
Yeah. I just don't understand that.
What do you mean? Understand? Like
No. Like them,
the issues with money.
Yeah.
I think it's like an Uber higher spiritual ground kind of thing. You know? Actually, I had this like so funny. I won't say who the person is, but if they're hearing this, they're like, "Oh, that's me." So they're like, "Oh, let's never like I never want to make so much money. Like I never want to make $1 million." And I'm like, "Why?" You know, like, so you want somebody else to make $1 million? Then they can choose what to do with it. If you make $1 million, at least you get to spend that money. Like, if sure you don't want to make $1 million because you don't want to be uber rich, or make $1 million, invest in a business to give free food away. Then,
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's like don't shun money. Money is actually really important. I think that was like, you know how like they say like in Buddhist circles, like go one way to the extreme one way, go one way to the extreme the other way, and you'll find like a middle ground. And that's why I can like I'm talking about it so like logically, because it's like, yeah, for a long time like I didn't know the value of money, but then now it's like, oh no, this is like, and then I like hated money because it was like in yoga martial arts circles they're like anti-money, you know. And then like you go into the working world and you're like, okay, there are people who are really obsessed with money, but then it's like you just find the middle ground, and it's like money is very valuable. It's a very like important social lubricant, you know. Yeah Societal lubricant, not social lubricant. But I guess technically it's social as well. Anyways, so yeah. Final thoughts on that one?
Money's great.
Yeah, money's great. It's great.
I get to buy my PS5.
Exactly, yo. And then you know what's funny? All these yoga martial artists are like, check out my PS5. Like, oh, now we need money. Now we need money, eh?
Maybe they stole it. A lot of that stuff's happening now.
That's true. Yeah. Good on you. You stole it. Fast and Furious. Anti-establishment. Go for it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But somebody's got to pay for it. So it's like, you know, that's going to come out of somebody's wage. Like, if you steal a whole box of PS5s, you're like, yeah, I like undermine the system. It's like, yeah, and then we're going to fire a person because, you know, maybe security wasn't tight enough. Maybe we need to make the money back.
Or maybe just, I think, yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. I don't like.
There's always like a cause and effect is what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, it's good for you, but bad for someone else. You know, it's like the Diogenes thing. I can't remember who was talking about him. Oh, Firas Zahavi. He was talking about Diogenes, and he was saying like, I like his perspective because it's very like anti-establishment. Oh no, it wasn't Frost Hobby. Sorry, it was History on Fire guy, Daniele Bolelli.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
anyways, I was listening to him talk about Diogenes because we saw PewDiePie talking about it. So I saw like the podcast, like, oh, let me find out about this dude. So like I listened to it, and he's like, I like his philosophy about being like anti-social order, but what he didn't like is he's like, you're begging, so it's like you still want to be a part of the system, so you're living off somebody else's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
You
I don't know if he was begging. Was that?
Yeah, he was begging. Yeah.
He was begging.
Yeah, he was begging for food and like
to
survive. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he probably just starved to death.
No, I don't think he starved to death.
People probably gave him food.
Yeah.
Versus begging.
No, I don't know.
I don't even know anything. Actually, I don't know anything about this guy.
An actual historian.
No,
that,
I know.
like,
No, I was just joking.
Yeah.
I don't actually know anything about. I just there. Of course, like
No, he was like a homeless person.
no, of course he was homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
but
knew.
he was like a beggar too. Like he asked for like food.
Right. But it was. I don't know why they viewed him as just a philosopher though. Too. It's kind of interesting.
It made me like look around at like homeless people that I see. I'm like, wow, what do you know? But I'm like, no, like, come on. I'm sure. Like, what could you like? I mean, if you go down far enough in the yoga and martial arts circle, you're like, I'm sure I know what you know, bro. Like, yeah, society, being away from it.
No, I think
like,
I think we can understand. It's
Yeah.
but it's like
But it's like, yeah, but that's also an extreme.
yeah.
You gotta find the middle,
Right.
or else what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know.
Was he a real person though? Do we know that?
Yes, he's a real person.
Okay.
But there's not much written about him. So like the historian had to like.
That's what I'm
piece
saying. Like a
multiple
lot of these
books
things
together.
are like.
No, he's a real person though. He's a real person.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know everything about the person. Also, right? Just we know based on pieces of things that we've found.
Yeah, but he did like all the reading. I'm like, trust you. on
No,
this one.
yeah, I understand that. Even Socrates, it's like he didn't write anything down.
Yeah,
All that
yeah.
is stuff from like from Plato himself.
Dude,
so
just
it's
like
like
Diogenes too, he never wrote anything down.
that's what I'm
It's all
saying. It's like it's
accounts.
from third person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. He was saying like Socrates and Diogenes.
So we
very
are
similar
making
inferences on like
on
what it
them.
is. Yeah,
Whoever
totally.
wrote that down about Diogenes, for instance.
Yeah,
So it's like
it's funny how the mind does
Like,
that though, eh?
maybe he was just crazy.
Yeah, maybe it was just
It
crazy.
was just
yeah.
crazy, and
And
it just-
people are just like, actually, there
Oh,
was
this
a-
guy's brilliant.
There was a cult of no, totally, because there was a cult of Diogenes. Like so,
Yeah.
so he didn't even want any of that, and then people were like flocking to him,
Yeah.
and they created like a cult out of him.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. Maybe just people were like, he's a genius, but it's like, how do you know? How do you know, bro? So many people are like, especially if you can promise to heal people of their suffering, you can get a lot of marketing. You can get like a lot of business out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I really hated about like that like realm, you know, like the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of like peddlers out there being like, I can save you of your woes.
So
Follow me.
snake oil salesman.
Yeah,
types.
snake oil salesman. Yeah, they're like very prevalent in that field. If you just like ring,
Well, it
this,
can
like,
happen. Yeah.
If you just ring like a bell and then like blow some smoke in your face, like you're gonna feel 1,000 times better.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I
really
guess
do.
they revel in the placebo world.
Mm. Yeah, totally. They revel in the placebo world. Yeah, it's weird. But we're like, again, it goes back to like, you know, the selfishness. Like they're looking at it from their own perspective, so they're trying desperately to find salvation from their own like
Mhm.
pain,
Mm-hmm.
which is like totally everyone should do that. But I mean, like be wary of the medicine you take because it could just be snake oil. You know where that came from? Snake oil.
What?
I'm pretty sure this is what it was. They were selling like medicine, and it was like venom vials or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't real. Yeah, it was like a peddler.
Yeah. Not an actual peddler. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like selling like medicine or something, like anti venom. I don't even know. I think that's where it came from. Don't quote me.
I
on
don't
that.
know exactly, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, so so that's that. UFOs. All right.
Oh.
I want to revisit this one.
All
So
right.
there's been a lot of like crazy UFO stuff that's come about, and so I actually listened to the whole Commander Fravor Lex Friedman thing, and it was like it's like 4 hours long. It's
Oh my
crazy.
god.
But so it was cool
You
because
watched it 4 hours? Did you times 1.5?
no, straight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't 1.5 my YouTube videos.
That's too long.
Yeah. Anyways, so because I wanted to get like, because the thing about like 4 hours, you really, like Joe Rogan said, you can really like get to know a person, especially during our podcast.
No,
right?
I know. I'm just saying you could listen to it.
No, yeah, totally. Yeah. I'm disregarding that point. No, I'm saying
Okay.
like within 4 hours, you can really get, like, I'm ignoring that you said, yeah, totally. I'm moving on.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can really get to know a person, right? So, like, it's cool how Lex Friedman did it because he didn't start off with the alien. He started off with his career, and then he was talking about like what it's like being a fighter pilot. So this guy, Commander Fravor, you know the movie Top Gun?
Yeah.
So that's an actual unit. So they're fighter pilot people.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like Top Gun's real. It's a training school for like fighter pilots, right? So this guy was like the commander of it. Yeah, Commander Fravor. Yeah, commander. Yeah, yeah. He's a commander. So he was the commander of it. So like he like led the training and stuff, right? So he was like the top guy. And then if you ever seen the Tic Tac video where it's like this, like it looks like a Tic Tac, great branding. If you see the Tic Tac and like you can YouTube it, Tic Tac UFO sighting. It's the most famous one. It got released by the government. Actually got released way earlier in like 2008 or something like that.
Released or leaked?
Leaked.
Okay.
And then the US in 2020
Officially released it.
officially like declassified. They're like, yeah, this is real.
declassified it, yeah.
They're like, yeah, this is real. What you're seeing is real.
Mhm.
So okay, so you listen to him, and then like Lex goes through all of these like potentials as to why like he could have hallucinated it, or like his mind was tricking him. And like every time he said something, it's like he had an actual very logical explanation for every single thing that he was saying. Like when he first saw it, he was like, oh, it's a helicopter. So like, well, they were on a training mission, and then they're like, oh, hey, we keep seeing this blip on our radar. Can you go check it out? Right? So he goes to check it out.
Right.
And then when they see it, they're like, oh, it's a helicopter. So his unit that's there, they're all there. He's like, I'm going to take my plane, him and his co-pilot. He's like, I'm going to go take the plane, go have a closer look. Like, what is this thing that's over the water? We just got to be sure of what it is. And then so they go, and he's like, what is that? It's not like a vehicle I've ever seen. It's like, it's not even like, so like they're like, oh, it might have been a helicopter. He's like, the way the water was moving, because like helicopters, the way the water, when you're near water in a helicopter, it behaves a certain way. But he's like, but it's not moving. It's like moving around the Tic Tac in a very like non-logical way, right? So he's not saying it's an alien from outer space. He's saying like we really don't know what this thing is.
That's a UFO. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's just,
unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
So then Lex was like, how do you know it's not tech from a different country? We just haven't discovered yet. Or like something from like, there's this place called Skunk Works that works on like high like classified stuff. And then he was saying that like, yes, but it's been so many years. Like, yeah, we create technology maybe like 5 years out or 10 years out from when it's going to be released. So we have stuff that's pretty advanced, but like you saw nothing of that kind of propulsion being used now. And it's been so many years later. So it's like you would have seen it like slowly come out if it was something that's like there, right? If it's something that they've been working on, you know? Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
Possible. Makes sense. But like, yeah. And then what he was saying was like, a lot of these sightings are near water, and what is the best place to hide something on Earth than in water? Because 90% of it's water. It's undiscovered. You know. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Oh, actually, France said the best thing on the.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Yeah, he's like, what if they were like water people, like Atlanteans, like the Aquaman movie,
or like the movie, or like the Wakanda.
Or Wakanda, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, how, like, what if it's like it could be that actually, you don't know, because like a lot of the accounts of what they did was like the UFOs would shut down the nuclear silos during the Cold War. Like when they were about to press the button, it's like it just stopped.
You think? I don't know. Was it intentionally shut down, or was it like the side effect of whatever technology they're using?
I have no idea. Well, they're theorizing that it shut it down on purpose, like with the intention of shutting it down. It wasn't like an after effect. But yeah, so like taking that into account, it's like, what if they're just like, all right, now we're just gonna speculate on what this thing is. Now that the facts are laid there, what if? So what it could be is like maybe what they believe. Some people believe is that they're coming down to like warn us of our potential downfall. They're trying to stop it. They likened it to like, if there's a baby with a match, you're gonna walk over and take the match out of the baby's hand.
Okay.
Could be like that.
Sure.
Could be water people. Could be Wakandans. They could be mounting an attack. You know, we don't know. Like War of the Worlds. What if they're like mining resources for their planet? That's why they need to like use our planet. Like,
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if they're taking something for, like, that's why they're being very benevolent. That's why they're like, don't blow this place up. We use it too, bro.
Well, yeah, or maybe they just don't want like issues getting in their way to
of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, we don't know.
Mm.
That actually could make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if they're water people, it's like, well, if you blow up the Earth, we're kind of screwed too.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I just feel like we're gonna learn more, especially now. It's weird that 2020 is like very, like, you know, 2020.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, I can really see clearly, and it's like, yeah, you're seeing all these like social issues come up, aliens.
Right.
You know, apparently there's a crazy meteor shower that's gonna happen this weekend.
It's been happening, I think. There's been a few stuff.
Yeah.
There's one that happened in Japan like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but I just saw on like the feed that you're gonna see like 128 meteors per hour if you just look up at the sky.
Cool.
It's gonna be like a meteor shower.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of stuff about. I don't know. This year, yeah, it has a lot of
weird year.
Already a very weird year, and then it's like, yeah, there's a ton of stuff we've seen. The alien stuff coming out, then there's the asteroid things, the fireball that we watched. Like all these things are about
fireball. Yeah.
All these like end of
end of the world. It's almost like the marketers couldn't sell Y2K.
I think this is the real 2012, in the metaphorical sense that I think it's a new world that starts after this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But I'm sure they felt the same during like the Great Depression, World War II.
No, I think that's what I'm saying. Metaphorically, probably like that. Like this is setups
like really changing the trajectory of where we're headed. Yeah, that's true. Like we forget how easy it is for us to pivot in. I keep coming back to that word because it's like, it's so real. Like you just have to you're always moving forward. You just pivot a little to the left or right, and then you just keep, moving. But yeah, like.
But that's what we've always done as species, as human species.
Yeah, but now always we're coming up to our next pivot point where it's like, ooh, you're going to have to move from here.
Right.
Like our last one was World War II, arguably.
Right. I think 9/11 had some impact.
Oh, yeah, 9/11 was a pivot point. Yeah, you're right.
And then,
but it wasn't so grand. Oh, it was actually pretty grand.
It was grand.
It all started from 9/11,
this
whole thing.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of things to learn from this that will be impacted in the future. Like it'll be in lessons from here or whatever it is. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I agree with you. Interesting times. So, final thing. Oh wait, no, Game Awards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really thought Final Fantasy VII was gonna win. I'm so shocked. Last of Us, because I thought they had like so much backlash. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, but the backlash is just a public thing. It doesn't mean that the game's bad.
Okay, true. Yeah, I see your point. But what do you think?
What did I think?
Game Awards in general.
Game Awards in general? Most of the stuff is cringe. I'm just there to see...
Most of the stuff is cringe. I agree with you. Yeah. It's like the biggest nerd thing. When I put that in my story, I was like, it's like so nerdy. Never watching this is like weird. But yeah, I agree. It's like super cringe.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, what new games? There's some cool announcements. Maybe one or two, I think. But like, yeah.
We're just looking for like what's coming next.
Yeah,
we don't really care. I didn't care that Last of Us won.
I played already that, so like I know it was pretty good. Like I can see how it can be a good game. It is a good game in a sense, like great graphics, great.
Yeah, totally.
The story and stuff. You can get mad at the story, but that's your opinion on it.
Totally.
So I think that's probably it makes like I think it's kind of like should have been. It would be Last of Us.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right. Sad it wasn't Final Fantasy VII though.
Right.
You gotta play that game, man. You tell me it's not friggin' amazing.
No, yeah. I have to eventually once I finish so many other games.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, it might just be like outdated by the time you're just like, there's like something.
There's another one,
interesting.
like there's a second part 2 to it, right, or something eventually
Yeah,
coming
I don't know
out.
if I'm gonna play part 2. I'm like, it's just a lot of work. I didn't even play part 2 of Last of Us. I'm like, it's just so long.
Yeah, but I showed you the story, right? So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, totally.
it was a long game.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not into long games anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
But it's not
consider-
like a happy thing. Can be very
totally, yeah.
depressing.
But that's why I thought Final Fantasy was gonna be sick, because it's like you're immersed in this world. It's like pretty inspirational.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just think on par wise, sure, but about the game, but like, there's a different level to this Last of Us
totally,
type of
totally.
story. So
Yeah, true. I agree with you. Yeah, and you're playing Spider-Man. What do you think? You're almost done.
I think I'm almost done. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm slowly playing that game. It's hard, man. I don't know, like, because it's always like you have like, let's say you have like 2 hours allotted to like gaming, and then we play GTA 5. It's like, yeah,
I don't think
choose GTA for
I
that,
really don't think
whatever.
the story's that long.
Oh really? Oh, I
yeah.
can play it really quick.
Yeah,
I should burn through the game.
yeah. I'm doing all the side stuff. That's why.
Oh,
You don't have to do
okay.
any of that, other than if you want to level up certain things.
No, I don't care. I'm also playing on like the easiest mode.
Yeah,
'cause
so
it's
I don't
one
think you
story.
really need to level up. So you should be fine. Just
I
to
get
go through with the story.
I get pretty irritated with like those like action button smash games. I feel like that's what Spider-Man's like. I hate that kind of fighting style. I mean, God of War was great for that. I was surprised that I actually like God of War's fighting, but like Spider-Man's fighting is just kind of like, it feels so rapid to me.
Oh, I like it. It's like, I mean, they learned the lessons from Batman.
Yeah, I didn't like Batman either though.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. But never like doing those special moves is kind of cool. Just cool to see.
Yeah.
Visually, I thought it looks cool.
Yeah, but then I just end up repeating the same combo because it kills them quick.
Oh, well, I do the different stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like, why? It's like you could just hit the same button every time. And it's like they're dead. You know?
But you're on easy though, right?
Yeah,
So-
easy, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So
I only
then
want the
that's probably
story.
why it's like, yeah, one hit probably just knock them out, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah, totally.
Versus
Actually, one of the cool things about the game is like how immersive the world is. We got to do a freaking when you beat the game, we'll just get some costume. We'll do like a free roam
sure.
through New York City. We'll call it like free roam through New York City.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
put the
yeah.
green screen up and we'll like
Okay. Yeah.
because like the world is sick. Like the swinging is cool. Like if you're, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hit a wall, and he starts running up the wall. I'm like, oh, this is
Yes.
so genius.
Yes.
Or like I'm
The-
swinging too
yeah,
close to
yeah.
the building, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna bump off, because old school games you would have bumped the building, but like he just starts running on the side of the building. I'm like, this is perfect.
That's why I said this is the best Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In everything that it has about Spider-Man, I think it's like this one and the one just before this, right? The PS4
yeah.
Spider-Man one. That's where they
Got the
got like that's where the code is from.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
The engine.
yeah, the engine, right?
Yeah.
So like, like that was like when I first tried that first Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be a good game.
Really?
That's
yeah.
why I knew it. It's like I think you really got to get that swinging right, and like
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
that comes with that. So
Yeah, the swinging is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I've seen like a bunch of YouTube videos like free roam Spider-Man. That's why I got the idea.
Oh,
Like, we
okay,
should just
okay.
free roam,
sure.
because like that, it's pretty amazing. You can go to like the heights. We can crawl to the top and like jump down, do like swan dives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good game. Good game. I don't know, stories.
It's a short game though. I think.
If
It'll-
it's a short game, I'll burn through it then.
Yeah, I'm almost done it. I was like, oh, I didn't realize how short it was.
True.
So
Yeah.
I'm just doing all the side stuff now, and then finish the story.
Oh, okay. Doesn't it open up free roam when the story's done?
Yeah, I just want to level up my stuff, max out all the skill points or whatever.
Oh, because you might have to face like a hard boss at the end.
Yeah, I just want to.
Don't want the ride
I'm trying to
be over.
100% it, I guess. So
Oh, okay.
get that plat.
But can't you 100% it when the game's done?
Yeah.
Oh, so.
But I'm just rather just get it all done.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. So look out for the free roam when Vish ends up finishing the game. You got a bunch of costumes?
I haven't bought. You can just buy them, which I haven't done yet.
Like real money? Like
No.
video game money?
Yeah. Like
Oh.
that's what the things I'm doing. You'll rack up all the
Oh,
points
that's cool.
to buy the stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to get or try out the spectacular Spider-Man costume, whatever that movie.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse costume.
That's cool. Isn't there like a mode too, like a Spider-Verse mode?
Yeah, where I think
They like delay
he
the
swings
frame rate
at a certain frame rate, like kind of like in the movie.
slower or something. So
It's not really slower. It's like it looks slower, but he's moving at a certain frame rate,
Yeah,
so it looks like he's going slowly or like more like glitchy.
that's cool.
So it kind of looks like that.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so look out for that. All right, till next time. Be sure to check out Zenreal Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and your accessories. Use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, check out the Zenreal Radio playlist, free on Spotify. And if you're located within the Scarborough, Toronto, Port Union area, or if you just want to venture down there, pick up some donuts, empanadas, fresh bread, and say what's up to Arvel. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.